And I just wanted to add in, like, it's so crazy how with plants, how death and life can coexist in a beautiful way. And when I'm saying that, I mean, like, my plant, one of my succulents, literally drops 5 leaves like every 2 weeks, not even kidding, but grows 5 leaves every 2 weeks. And so I think in like winter seasons where it feels like the trees are dying and the leaves are falling off, and you know, it's just like everything is all over the place, there is still such life there, and there is still such growth there, and you don't know what's happening below the soil. You know, just all my plant little analogies, but you don't know what's happening beneath the soil, and you don't know what the Lord is doing and how He's working in that. And I think that's just so beautiful, you know, how two seemingly opposite things can coexist. And I think even in terms of there's this beautiful quote that says you're allowed to be you're a work of progress. And hello friend, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to another video. I'm so glad you're here. So a couple of days ago it was spring day, and so here in South Africa, spring day was literally like so cloudy. It wasn't even like spring day for the like first 2-3 days of September. It was really overcast. But listen, my favorite season is spring. But hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself here. So I wanted to just sit and chat about spring and about my plants over coffee. I'm not having coffee now. It's like 4 in the afternoon, so if I have coffee now, I'm not gonna sleep. But I thought, hey, like, let's do this, you know. Yeah, and so Jesus, please be present in this conversation. May it just be a good time. Amen. All right, so I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but that's what I want to do today, you know, and I wanted to talk about some things I learned from taking care of plants, because I'm a proud plant mama. And so yesterday, actually, on my stories, I literally did like a little mini plant tour of all my plant babies. Okay, so let's get into it. So like I was saying, spring is literally my favorite season. I just love how everything is growing and blooming, and especially after winter. Winter is my least favorite season because everything is just so dead. You know, I struggle so much with winter because it's cold, everything is dead and dying, and it's just like a season, you know. And then like spring, and it takes so long in South Africa. It just feels like it drags on, and then spring comes along, and it literally everything starts blooming. And so there's these 2 trees outside, which have, as I noticed, I think it was just before, like on spring day or just around about that time, I noticed they had started popping out little green like leaves. Oh my goodness, I did not even check my face. Excuse me. But they had started popping out new little green leaves, and I thought, wow, that's so cool. You know, like such a sign. And of course, it's really early spring, and it's not technically spring until the 22nd of September, but like to me, 1st of September is spring day. And I just love September. September's my birthday month, 26th of September. You know, and I feel like September is just always such a good month. And so now that we're going into spring here in South Africa, I think, you know, it's a great time to reflect on what I learned in the winter, because even though winter is my least favorite season, it's the season that I probably learned the most. So, you know, even in winter seasons in life, you know, winter seasons, desert seasons, those are like the least favorite. I don't know. Well, okay, there are a few people, but most people aren't like, yeah, let's go into winter. I love winter. It's so cold and everything's dying, you know. Unless you're one of those people, that's cool too. But most people aren't the biggest fan of winter. Autumn maybe, but not winter. And so, but it's the season where we learn the most. And so I am a plant mama, proud plant mama, and I just, well, okay, but a step back, I love the quote, life is unpredictable, the one at the beginning of this video. Actually, it's a poem, and I did it for like a grade 10 project or like speech or something, but it still applies today. And it just says, life is unpredictable, it changes with the season, even the coldest winter happens for the best of reasons. Ooh. And though it feels eternal, like all you do is freeze, I promise spring is coming, and with it brand new leaves. Isn't that so cool? And on that topic, I have a plant. So like I said, plant mama here, and I did like I said, I did a planter on my Instagram, and this was sort of what sparked this conversation. I have a plant which last year, which like, so I got it, right? So cool story, there was this guy on the side of the street my first year of varsity, right? So that was last year. He was on the side of the street, like by a park, sort of like in the area, but not really. And he would sell plants, and they were 10 rand each. And so I saw him a couple of times, and my mom saw him, and she knows, like, I'm obsessed with plants. Actually, I think she first saw him, and so she brought home a plant, and I was like, oh my gosh, but they're only 10 rand, so we have to get more. Because at this point I had like one plant, that other plant that I had ever had, I accidentally killed. I'm pretty sure it had some like either root rot or like a bug on it. Yeah, and so I only had one plant there and still have that plant. And I was like, okay, I want more plants, you know. And so we went to this guy on the side of the road. He was such a cool guy. And I wish I could still find him, because 10 rand plants. I mean, I got my first like plant, that the one that I didn't kill. So my second plant, I got that for like 30 bucks a Pick and Pay, you know, and these are like full grown succulents. And so I'll show you. And so I got probably like 4 or 5 plants then, or 5 including the one that my mom had gotten me, and I never saw him again, which is so sad. Anyway, so I got this plant. Let me get it for you actually. Alright, and so I got this plant over here, this super cool guy, and he did not look like this when I got him. He was really full, if that makes sense, and he had all these like leaves drooping down, honestly, till about here. And then last year, towards the end of the year, it literally was like the plant just, what is this? I think I just killed a ladybug. Oh my goodness. Okay. It was literally like this plant just died, like, and from the roots up. And I was like, oh my goodness. I was literally freaking out, because I was like, you know, the leaves are fine, but the roots are dead. And when the roots are dead, then, you know, a plant is like dead. And so it was dead. And I was like, oh, it looked like it was dead. And I was like, what am I going to do? My gran even was like, hey, you should throw it away. And I was like, okay, this is my favorite plant, like aesthetic wise, that I had at that time. And so I was like, okay, let me just stick with it, you know. And so earlier on this year, I literally, I'll insert a video here, I literally pulled the leaves off, and I was left with like nothing. But the craziest thing happened is that it started to grow, and in March it looked like this, and now in what are we in, September, this bad boy is just growing, and the roots are so healthy. I don't know if this is in focus or not. Yeah, and I noticed, also I only discovered yesterday the scientific name for this guy. He's actually a succulent, which I didn't know, because he doesn't look like a succulent. And so he's a succulent. And what I found super cool, so 6 of my 9 plants are succulents, or multiple succulents in one like thing. And so succulents actually grow the most in the winter, like they have their babies, quote unquote, in the winter. And isn't that funny? Like, going back to winter isn't a season that you want to be in, yet it's the season where there's a lot of growth, you know. All my succulents, literally before winter, they were sort of like chilling, you know, just them, and through winter they have just grown literally exponentially, like the growth, you would not believe it. Which, if you want, you can follow my Instagram at the Project Lumia. I have a plant highlight, so you can see like the growth there. But they have just grown so much. And so basically what I know, I'm so all over the place in this video, but what I'm just trying to do is to say, like, hey, in winter seasons, like, there is such growth there, and now as we're going out of winter and going into spring, like, it's such a great time to reflect on, like, hey, what did I learn in the winter, and what can I take with me into the spring, you know, as life is starting to bloom again. You know, let's like take what we learned and move with that, you know, because life does change with the seasons, and just serve the season you're in. You know, I was watching Pastor Mike Simon, love him, and he was a Pastor Mike, yeah, and he was just talking about, like, serve the season you're in. It might not be the season you want to be in, but serve that season, you know. And so if you're in a winter today, friend, my succulents grow the most in the winter, which is counterintuitive. I know they grow the most in the winter, and there's probably the most growth in the winter, you know. And if you're in that spring, embrace the fact that you're in spring and take what you learned from the winter to move on. You know, if you're in a summer, like that's great, and serve that season. And so whatever season you're in, serve that season. Yeah, and so be like this guy over here, which I don't know, I tried to, so I never named my plants before, and then I got fiddle gift over here, present is down there, I don't know if you guys can see him, Audrey, she's over there, and so then I was like, okay, because they're big plants, I was like, okay, I'm gonna name my plant. So now I'm trying to think of a name for this guy, and I don't know, I just feel like I don't know if there's a name for him, but yeah, I'll think of one and I'll let you guys know. The only other succulent that I've named is Goldie, and she's the like golden oldie, the second plant I ever had. So yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about naming plants? Anyway, I'm literally like all over the place and I'm going off topic, but I just wanted to encourage you, be like this guy over here, where it might look like everything is dead around you, but actually everything is growing. You know, it might feel like it's the end, but friend, if you are still alive, your story is not over, you know. This guy, I honestly thought he was dead. Like, I thought it was over, and I was so sad because he is such a good plant and he just grows so much. I mean, you can see now he just grows so much, and he looks so aesthetic. He's my cool kid plant, you know, like my cool kid plant, but like my nice friendly cool kid plant. So I was so sad, and I thought he had died, but he hadn't. He was just in that season of rejuvenating, and things were happening behind the scenes that he didn't know about, and that I didn't know about. And so if you're in that winter season, things are happening behind the scenes, and God is growing you so that you can come into this spring season and just start blooming, and even in that winter season, blooming and growing, and end up like this guy over here. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my plant, coffee, and conversation video. Yeah, all right, have an absolutely amazing day. Please don't forget to subscribe. It helps me out so much, and share my videos with like Erin, you know. Yeah, and I'll see you in the next video. It's gonna be a good day, friend. Bye. And bye from this guy. And I just wanted to add in, like, it's so crazy how with plants, how death and life can coexist in a beautiful way. And when I'm saying that, I mean like my plant, one of my succulents, literally drops 5 leaves like every 2 weeks, not even kidding, but grows 5 leaves every 2 weeks. And so I think in like winter seasons where it feels like the trees are dying and the leaves are falling off, and you know, it's just like everything is all over the place, there is still such life there, and there is still such growth there, and you don't know what's happening below the soil. You know, don't you love all my plant little analogies? But you don't know what's happening beneath the soil, and you don't know what the Lord is doing and how he's working in that. And I think that's just so beautiful, you know, how two seemingly opposite things can coexist. And I think even in terms of there's this beautiful quote that says you're allowed to be you're a work of progress and a masterpiece at the same time, you know. And I think it's so beautiful how that happens. And you know, in life there's so many scenarios where it's like that, where it's like two opposite things that coexist. So yeah, I hope that encourages you. Okay.